Welcome to Velvet Nights, your place to unwind, let go, and escape into stories that soothe, excite, and carry you through the night. Find a comfortable place to rest, breathe in deeply, and let the outside world fade away. With every word, you'll drift deeper into calm, and soon into a world of romance, mystery, and whispers waiting just for you. Now, let's begin tonight's story.
Whispers in the Velvet Room. Chapter 1. The Storm's Invitation. The rain had been falling for hours, each drop a silver needle against the Gothic windows of Ashwood Manor. I pulled my coat tighter as I approached the towering oak doors, their brass knockers gleaming like ancient eyes in the lamplight. Thunder rolled across the moors, and I wondered, not for the first time, what had possessed me to accept an invitation from someone I'd never met. The letter had arrived 3 days prior, written in elegant script on cream-colored paper that smelled faintly of jasmine. You are cordially invited to experience the mysteries of the Velvet Room. Come when the storm arrives. Come alone. It was signed simply with the initial A. As if summoned by my presence, the doors opened before I could knock. A figure stood silhouetted against the warm glow within, tall, graceful, with eyes that seemed to hold the depth of midnight itself. You came, the stranger said, voice barely above a whisper, yet carrying the weight of certainty. I wondered if you would have the courage. I stepped across the threshold, feeling as though I was crossing into another world entirely. The foyer stretched before me, adorned with rich tapestries and paintings, whose subjects seemed to watch my every movement. Candles flickered in silver sconces, casting dancing shadows that made the very walls appear to breathe. I'm still not entirely sure why I'm here, I admitted, my voice echoing in the vast space. The stranger smiled, a slow curve of lips that spoke of secrets and promises. Perhaps that's exactly why you needed to come. I am Adrian, they said, extending a hand that was warm and impossibly soft. And you are exactly as I imagined. How could you imagine me? We've never met, haven't we? Adrian's eyes held mine for a moment that stretched like honey. Come, the Velvet Room is waiting. We moved through corridors lined with mahogany and marble, past rooms filled with the ghosts of conversations and laughter from decades past. The storm's voice grew distant, muffled by the thick walls and heavy curtains that seemed to insulate us from the outside world. This manor has been in my family for generations, Adrian explained as we walked, their fingers barely brushing my elbow to guide me around a corner. Each room holds its own story, its own purpose. But the Velvet Room, that's something different entirely. Different how? Adrian paused at a door covered in deep burgundy fabric, their hand resting on an ornate silver handle. It's where truth lives, where pretense falls away, like autumn leaves. They turned to face me fully, and in the candlelight, I could see flecks of gold in their dark eyes. Are you ready for truth? My heart hammered against my ribs, though I couldn't say whether from anticipation or apprehension. I don't know what that means. Then let me show you. The door opened onto a room that seemed to exist outside of time itself. Velvet draped every surface, the walls, the furniture, even the ceiling, creating a cocoon of deep crimson and midnight blue. Candles of varying heights flickered from every corner, their flames reflected in mirrors that seemed to multiply the light into infinity. In the center of the room sat a low table set with crystal glasses and a bottle of wine the color of garnets. 2 chairs faced each other across the intimate space. positioned close enough that conversation would require nothing more than whispers. "It's beautiful," I breathed, stepping into the room as if entering a dream. "It's honest," Adrian corrected, closing the door behind us with a soft click. "In here, we can be who we truly are, not who the world expects us to be." The storm outside seemed to fade to nothing more than a distant memory. Adrian moved with fluid grace to pour wine into the crystal glasses, the liquid catching the candlelight like liquid rubies. "Tell me," Adrian said, settling into one of the chairs and gesturing for me to take the other. "What brought you to my door tonight?" "Not the letter. That was merely the invitation. What in your soul was already searching?" I accepted the wine, the crystal cool against my fingers. "I've been feeling disconnected lately, like I'm living someone else's life, following a script I never auditioned for." "And what would your life look like if you wrote the script yourself?" The question hung between us, weighted with possibility. I took a sip of wine, tasting blackberries and something darker, more complex. "I don't know. That's the problem. I've forgotten how to want things for myself." Adrian leaned forward slightly, the movement bringing them closer without seeming deliberate. "Perhaps you haven't forgotten. Perhaps you've simply been afraid to acknowledge what you want." "And what do you think I want?" The question escaped before I could stop it, and I felt heat rise in my cheeks. "Connection," Adrian said simply, "the kind that goes deeper than words, beyond the surface of polite conversation. You want to be seen, truly seen, by someone who understands the language of your heart." The words struck something deep within me, a chord I didn't realize had been waiting to be played. "You speak as if you know me." "I know the look in your eyes," Adrian replied, their voice dropping to barely above a whisper. "It's the same one I see in the mirror each morning, the longing for something real in a world of beautiful facades." We talked through the hours, the conversation flowing like the wine, touching on dreams abandoned and hopes carefully hidden. Adrian spoke of travels to distant lands, of art that moved the soul, of moments when the ordinary world fell away to reveal something magical beneath. "Dance with me," Adrian said suddenly, rising and extending a hand. "There's no music. Listen more carefully." And somehow, in the silence punctuated only by the soft patter of rain and the whisper of candle flames, I could hear it, a melody that seemed to rise from the very walls, from the spaces between heartbeats. Adrian's hand was warm in mine as they drew me to my feet. The space between the chairs became our dance floor, the flickering shadows our only audience. We moved slowly, as if underwater, Adrian's free hand coming to rest at the small of my back. "Close your eyes," they whispered, their breath warm against my ear. In the darkness behind my eyelids, every other sense heightened. I could smell Adrian's cologne, something subtle with notes of cedar and vanilla. I could feel the whisper-soft texture of their shirt beneath my palm, the gentle pressure of their fingers against my spine. We swayed together, our movements gradually synchronizing until it felt as though we were breathing with the same lungs, our hearts finding the same rhythm. When Adrian's thumb traced a small circle against my back, I felt the touch echo through my entire being. "You're trembling," Adrian observed softly. "I'm not afraid," I said, though I wasn't entirely sure that was true. "I know, you're awakening." The dance became something more intimate, our bodies drawing closer with each gentle turn. Adrian's hand moved from my back to cup my face, thumb brushing across my cheekbone with reverent tenderness. "May I kiss you?" they asked, the words barely audible. Instead of answering with words, I rose onto my toes, closing the small distance between us. Our lips met in a kiss that was gentle yet intense, a question and an answer all at once. Adrian tasted of wine and promises, of secrets shared in whispered confessions. When we broke apart, I felt as though the world had shifted on its axis, revealing new constellations in the familiar sky. "Come," Adrian said, taking my hand and leading me to a chaise lounge draped in midnight blue velvet. "Let me show you what it means to be truly seen." We settled together on the velvet, Adrian's arms encircling me as naturally as if we'd done this 1,000 times before. Their fingers found the tension I carried in my shoulders, working it away with patient, knowing touches. "You hold the weight of the world here," Adrian murmured, their lips brushing against my temple. "Let it go. Let me carry it for a while." Under Adrian's gentle ministrations, I felt layers of armor I didn't realize I'd been wearing begin to fall away. Each touch was a conversation, each caress a poem written on my skin. We explored each other with the reverence of pilgrims discovering sacred ground, every gesture deliberate and meaningful. "You're beautiful," Adrian whispered against my neck, their voice thick with emotion. "Not just your body, though that takes my breath away. Your soul, the way you see the world with such hope, despite all the reasons you've been given to become cynical." I turned in their arms, needing to see their face, to read the truth in their eyes. What I found there made my heart skip, not just desire, but something deeper, more profound.